first contact, the Galactic Council chamber hummed with nervous energy. Representatives from 1,000 worlds shifted uneasily in their seats, appendages twitching and tentacles curling. At the center of the massive amphitheater, a holographic display flickered to life, revealing a small blue-green planet. Esteemed colleagues, began High Counselor Zexara, her crystalline form refracting the chamber's soft light. We face an unprecedented situation. The species known as humans have achieved faster-than-light travel far ahead of our projections. A low murmur rippled through the assembly. Humanity's rapid technological advancement had caught the attention of the Galactic Council mere decades ago. Now, they stood on the precipice of joining the interstellar community. But that's not all, Zexara continued, her voice tinged with concern. Our deep space sensors have detected a quantum anomaly emanating from their home system. It appears the humans have stumbled upon something extraordinary. The hologram zoomed in, revealing a pulsating energy signature unlike anything the Council had ever seen. It defied conventional physics, seeming to exist in multiple states simultaneously. "By the void," whispered Kroll 4, the hive mind ambassador. "Is that what I think it is?" Zexara nodded gravely. "We believe the humans have inadvertently created a quantum bridge, a potential gateway to alternate realities." The chamber erupted in chaos. Some representatives demanded immediate intervention, while others called for patience and observation. The implications were staggering. If the humans could harness this power, it could reshape the very fabric of the universe. As the debate raged, a lone figure rose from the shadows. Ambassador Lyra, the last surviving member of the ancient precursor race, commanded attention with her mere presence. Her eyes, swirling pools of cosmic energy, swept across the chamber. "We must make contact," Lyra declared, her voice resonating with timeless wisdom. "The humans have proven themselves resourceful and adaptable. If guided properly, they could become valuable allies in the face of what's coming." A hush fell over the assembly. Few knew the full extent of the threat Lyra alluded to, but all sensed the weight of her words. "Very well," Zexara conceded. "We shall dispatch a diplomatic envoy to Earth, but we must tread carefully. The humans are still young, prone to conflict and misunderstanding." Dr. Samantha Chen stared at the readouts in disbelief. The quantum entanglement experiment had yielded results far beyond anything she or her team had anticipated. What started as a theoretical exercise in manipulating subatomic particles had somehow opened a window to somewhere else. Dr. Chen, her assistant Alex, called out excitedly. "We're receiving a signal. It's not from Earth." Samantha's heart raced as she rushed to the communications array. The message was clear, expressed in mathematical universal constants. "Greetings, people of Earth. We come in peace." For a moment, the weight of history pressed down upon her shoulders. Humanity's first contact with an alien civilization, and it had happened in her lab. "Reply," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Tell them we're ready to listen." Aboard the Galactic Council's diplomatic vessel, Ambassador Lyra prepared for humanity's first face-to-face encounter with extraterrestrial life. She had argued passionately for this mission, sensing a spark of potential in these young beings that reminded her of her own people long ago. "We're entering Earth's atmosphere," the pilot announced. "Stealth systems engaged." Lyra nodded, her gaze fixed on the blue marble growing larger in the viewscreen. "Remember," she addressed her team, "we must approach with caution and respect. The humans are on the brink of a discovery that could change everything. Our goal is to guide, not to control." As the ship descended towards the coordinates of Dr. Chen's facility, Lyra couldn't shake a feeling of unease. The quantum anomaly pulsed stronger here, its energy signature unlike anything she had encountered in her millennia of existence. "Ambassador," one of her aides interrupted her thoughts. "We're detecting unusual temporal fluctuations around the landing site. It appears the humans' experiments are having unforeseen consequences." Lyra's eyes widened. Stabilize our temporal shielding. We can't risk being caught in a time dilation field. The ship touched down silently in a remote field adjacent to the research complex. As the boarding ramp lowered, Lyra took a deep breath, steeling herself for what lay ahead. The fate of multiple realities might hinge on this moment. Dr. Chen and her team watched in awe as the sleek, silver craft materialized out of thin air. It defied conventional aerodynamics, its surface seeming to ripple and shift like liquid metal. "My God," Alex whispered, "it's really happening." Samantha squared her shoulders, trying to project a confidence she didn't entirely feel. "Remember the protocols we discussed. No sudden movements, maintain a non-threatening posture, and above all, stay calm." The ship's entrance arised open, revealing a soft, blue-tinged light from within. A figure emerged, unlike anything Samantha had imagined in her wildest dreams of first contact. Ambassador Lyra glided down the ramp, her form ethereal and otherworldly. She stood nearly 7 feet tall, with skin that shimmered like starlight and eyes that seemed to contain entire galaxies. When she spoke, her voice resonated not just in their ears, but in their minds. "Greetings, people of Earth. I am Ambassador Lyra, representative of the Galactic Council. We have long awaited this moment." Samantha stepped forward, her voice surprisingly steady. "Welcome to Earth, Ambassador Lyra. I'm Dr. Samantha Chen, lead researcher at this facility. We have so many questions." Lyra's expression softened, a hint of a smile playing at the corners of her mouth. "And we have much to discuss, Dr. Chen. Your work with quantum entanglement has not gone unnoticed. In fact, it is the very reason for our visit." Before Samantha could respond, alarms began blaring throughout the complex. Alex rushed to a nearby console, his face paling as he read the incoming data. "Dr. Chen," he called out, panic evident in his voice. "The quantum bridge, it's destabilizing. Energy readings are off the charts." Lyra's eyes narrowed, her ethereal form seeming to pulse with barely contained power. "We must act quickly," she declared. "The fabric of reality itself may be at stake." As if to punctuate her words, the sky above them shimmered and tore, revealing glimpses of other worlds, other timelines. The quantum bridge, once a theoretical construct, now threatened to rip apart the very foundations of their universe. Samantha looked from her team to the alien ambassador, the weight of responsibility settling heavily upon her. "Tell me what we need to do," she said, determination etched across her features. In that moment, as human ingenuity prepared to join forces with ancient cosmic wisdom, the fate of all realities hung in the balance. The war they never should have started with humans was about to begin, not with violence, but with a race against time to save existence itself. Ripples in reality. The sky above Dr. Chen's research facility swirled with otherworldly energies, fragments of alternate realities bleeding through the weakening barriers between dimensions. Ambassador Lyra's crystalline eyes darted from the roiling heavens to the complex's main building, her alien features setting grim determination. "We must reach your quantum bridge control center immediately," Lyra instructed, her melodic voice tinged with urgency. "Every moment we delay risks further destabilization of the local space-time continuum." Dr. Samantha Chen nodded sharply, pushing aside her awe at the situation. This was no time for existential wonderment. The fate of reality itself hung in the balance. "Follow me," she said, leading the alien delegation towards the heart of the facility. As they hurried through corridors lined with humming equipment, Alex fell into step beside Samantha. "Dr. Chen," he whispered, eyes wide with a mix of fear and excitement. "Are we really going to let them access our most sensitive systems? We don't know anything about their true intentions." Samantha's stride didn't falter, but she gave her assistant a reassuring glance. "We don't have a choice, Alex. Look outside. Whatever's happening is far beyond our current understanding. If they wanted to harm us, they could have done so already." The group burst into the central control room, a cavernous space dominated by holographic displays and banks of quantum computers. Technicians worked feverishly at their stations, their faces illuminated by the eerie glow of fluctuating data streams. "By the void," one of Lyra's aides exclaimed, tentacles waving in agitation. "The quantum entanglement field is far more extensive than our initial scans indicated. It's as if your entire solar system is becoming a nexus point for multiple realities." Lyra glided to the main control interface, her ethereal form seeming to merge with the holographic displays. "Dr. Chen, I need you to grant me access to your systems. What you've created here is remarkable, but it's also incredibly dangerous. We must stabilize the quantum bridge before it tears apart the very fabric of spacetime." Samantha hesitated for a fraction of a second, years of security protocols and scientific caution warring with the undeniable urgency of the moment. With a deep breath, she pressed her palm to the biometric scanner, granting the alien ambassador full access to humanity's most advanced technology. As Lyra's consciousness interfaced directly with the quantum systems, the holographic displays erupted in a dizzying array of multidimensional equations and probability matrices. The alien's form seemed to flicker and shift, existing in multiple states simultaneously as she navigated the complexities of the quantum bridge. "Fascinating," Lyra murmured, her voice echoing strangely as if coming from multiple points in space and time. "Your species has stumbled upon a fundamental force of the universe, one that even the oldest civilizations in the Galactic Council have only theorized about. With proper control, this could revolutionize travel, communication, even the very nature of existence itself." Samantha leaned in, her scientific curiosity momentarily overriding her concern. "What exactly are we dealing with here, Ambassador? Our initial experiments were focused on faster-than-light communication through quantum entanglement. How did we end up on the verge of ripping apart reality?" Lyra's multifaceted gaze met Samantha's, conveying both admiration and grave concern. "You've created a quantum resonance cascade, Dr. Chen. Your experiments didn't just entangle particles, they entangled entire regions of spacetime across multiple dimensions. It's as if you've tuned into the fundamental frequency of reality itself." Before Samantha could process the implications of this revelation, alarms blared throughout the facility. Alex's voice cut through the cacophony, panic evident in his tone. "Multiple breaches detected. Something's coming through." The main view screen shifted to external cameras, revealing scenes of chaos erupting across the complex. Shimmering portals tore open in mid-air, disgorging strange creatures and fragments of alien landscapes. Security personnel scrambled to contain the incursions, their weapons seeming woefully inadequate against the dimensional invaders. "It's worse than I feared," Lyra said, her form solidifying as she disengaged from the quantum interface. "The instability is spreading. We're seeing bleed through from multiple realities, some of which may be inimical to our very existence." Samantha's mind raced, correlating the alien ambassador's insights with her own understanding of quantum mechanics. If we're at the center of this quantum resonance cascade, could we use that to our advantage? Perhaps we could generate a counter-frequency to stabilize the breach. Lyra's eyes widened, a spark of hope igniting in their cosmic depths. Yes, that could work. But it would require precise manipulation of the quantum field on a scale never before attempted. The slightest miscalculation could accelerate the collapse of local spacetime. "Then we'll have to get it right the first time," Samantha declared, her voice steady with resolve. She turned to her team, who looked to her with a mixture of fear and determination. "This is what we've trained for, people. We're about to rewrite the laws of physics. Let's make it count." As the human scientists and alien diplomats worked feverishly to devise a solution, the world outside descended further into chaos. News feeds from around the globe reported similar dimensional breaches opening in major cities. Governments scrambled to respond, but their efforts seemed futile against the tide of unreality sweeping across the planet. In orbit, the Galactic Council's cloaked ships maintained their vigil, their advanced sensors providing a grim picture of the escalating crisis. High Counselor Zexara's voice crackled over the secure channel, addressing Lyra directly. Ambassador, the situation is deteriorating rapidly. If we cannot contain this breach within the next solar rotation, we will have no choice but to implement Protocol Omega. Lyra's form tensed, knowing all too well what Protocol Omega entailed: the complete quarantine and potential sacrificing of an entire star system to prevent a multiversal collapse. Understood, Counselor, but I'd urge you to reconsider. These humans have shown remarkable adaptability and insight. Given time, I believe they may hold the key to resolving this crisis. You have until the next communication window, Ambassador, Zexara replied, her tone leaving no room for argument. The fate of countless realities outweighs the concerns of a single species, no matter how promising. As the transmission ended, Lyra turned back to the Quantum Control Center, where Samantha and her team worked with feverish intensity. The ambassador's ancient eyes swept over the human scientists, marveling at their determination in the face of cosmic forces beyond their comprehension. Dr. Chen, Lyra said, her voice carrying the weight of eons, I believe it's time I shared with you the full scope of what we face. The stability of your reality, and countless others, now rests in humanity's hands. Are you prepared to shoulder that responsibility? Samantha looked up from her calculations, her eyes meeting Lyra's cosmic gaze. In that moment, she felt the enormity of their task, the hopes and fears of uncounted billions across multiple dimensions. But instead of faltering, she felt a surge of determination, that uniquely human spark of defiance in the face of impossible odds. We're ready, Ambassador, Samantha replied, her voice steady and resolute. Humanity has spent its entire existence pushing boundaries and defying limitations. Now, we'll do it on a cosmic scale. As if in response to her words, the quantum bridge pulsed with newfound intensity, bathing the control room in otherworldly light. The war they never should have started with humans was entering a new phase, one that would test the limits of human ingenuity and determination against the very forces that shaped the universe. Echoes of infinity. The control room of Dr. Chen's facility had become a nexus of frantic activity, a crucible where human determination and alien wisdom fused in a desperate bid to save reality itself. Holographic displays flickered with mind-bending equations, while outside, the sky continued to fracture, revealing glimpses of alien worlds and impossible geometries. Dr. Samantha Chen's fingers flew across adaptive interfaces, translating Ambassador Lyra's multidimensional insights into actionable data. If we can modulate the quantum resonance frequency, she muttered, more to herself than anyone else, we might be able to create a dampening field. Lyra nodded, her ethereal form pulsing with barely contained energy. Yes, but we must be precise. Too strong, and we risk collapsing the local space-time continuum. Too weak, and the breaches will continue to spread. As they worked, Alex approached, his face pale but determined. Dr. Chen, we're receiving reports from around the world. The dimensional breaches they're not just letting things through. People are disappearing, being pulled into other realities. Samantha's hands froze over the controls, the weight of this new information threatening to overwhelm her. Lyra placed a comforting hand on her shoulder, the alien's touch sending a ripple of calm through her being. Focus, Dr. Chen, Lyra said softly. Your species has faced extinction-level threats before and survived. This is no different. Channel that indomitable human spirit. Drawing a deep breath, Samantha nodded and returned to her work with renewed vigor. As she did, one of Lyra's aides burst into the room, its gelatinous form quivering with excitement. Ambassador, it burbled, we've detected a massive energy surge from the planet's core. It appears to be responding to the quantum fluctuations. Lyra's cosmic eyes widened in surprise. Impossible, she whispered. Unless... She turned to Samantha, her voice urgent. Dr. Chen, what do you know about the formation of your planet? Any unusual characteristics in its core composition? Samantha frowned, thinking back to her Earth Sciences classes. Well, our core is primarily iron and nickel, But there have always been anomalies in our geomagnetic field that we couldn't fully explain. Some theorize there might be exotic materials deep within the planet's center, but we've never been able to confirm. That's it, Lyra exclaimed, her form flickering with excitement. Your planet? It must be a nexus world. A what? Alex asked, voicing the confusion evident on every human face in the room. Lyra's form expanded, projecting a holographic model of the Earth that peeled away to reveal its layers. At the very center, a pulsing, multifaceted crystal took shape. In the early days of the universe, Lyra explained, her voice taking on a reverent tone, when the boundaries between realities were still forming, cosmic seeds were scattered across the multiverse. These seeds grew into nexus worlds, planets with cores of pure quantum crystal, capable of anchoring entire dimensions. Samantha's scientific mind raced with the implications. Are you saying Earth is some kind of interdimensional linchpin? Lyra nodded sullenly. It appears so, and your experiments must have awakened its dormant power. This changes everything, the risks, but also our potential solution. Before Samantha could respond, the facility shook with a violent tremor. Alarms blared as new alerts flooded the screens. Multiple breaches opening within the complex. A technician shouted, "We've got incoming, something." Security feeds showed corridors warping and twisting as rifts in reality tore open. Strange, crystalline entities emerged. Some humanoid, others defying description. They moved with purpose, heading directly for the control room. Quantum echoes, Lyra breathed, a mix of awe and concern in her voice. Manifestations of possible futures and alternate timelines. They're drawn to the source of the disturbance. As if on cue, the control room door burst open. Standing in the threshold was a figure that made everyone, human and alien alike, freeze in shock. It was Samantha Chen, or rather, a version of her. This doppelganger's body crackled with visible quantum energy, her eyes swirling vortexes of spacetime. When she spoke, her voice echoed as if coming from multiple points in time simultaneously. "Stop," the quantum Samantha commanded. "You don't understand what you're dealing with. The bridge must open fully. It's the only way to save everything." The real Samantha stepped forward, her mind reeling but her voice steady. "What are you talking about? We're trying to close the breaches, to stabilize our reality." Her duplicate shook her head, sending ripples of distortion through the air around her. "Short-sighted, limited. I've seen the end, all ends. The multiverse is dying, entropy consuming everything. The bridge is our only hope of escape, of finding a new cosmic nursery to seed with life." Lyra moved to stand beside Samantha, her ancient eyes narrowed in suspicion. And how many realities would be sacrificed in the process? How many billions of lives snuffed out to fuel your escape? "A necessary cost," Quantum Samantha replied coldly. "I've done the calculations across 1 billion timelines. It's the only way." As the two Samanthas faced off, more quantum echoes poured into the room, versions of Alex, of Lyra, of other team members. Some supported the duplicate Samantha's plan, others opposed it violently. The control room became a chaotic nexus of conflicting timelines and ideologies. In the midst of this insanity, the real Samantha felt a moment of clarity. She looked from her duplicate to Lyra, to her loyal team, and made a decision that would echo across realities. "No," she said, her voice cutting through the chaos. "I don't accept that. We are not sacrificing countless lives and realities on the word of some possible future version of myself. We'll find another way." Her quantum duplicate sneered. "You don't have a choice. I've seen every possibility. This is the only path." Samantha stood her ground, embodying the determination that had driven humanity to overcome impossible odds time and time again. "Then you haven't seen everything, because you've forgotten what makes us human, our ability to defy the odds, to find hope in hopeless situations, to create possibilities where none existed before." She turned to her team, her voice ringing with authority. "New plan. We're not just going to close the bridge, we're going to use it. Earth is a nexus world. Fine. Let's tap into that power, create a resonance cascade that will ripple across realities, not to destroy, but to heal. Lyra's eyes widened as she grasped Samantha's intention. A multiversal quantum entanglement. It's never been done before. The energy requirements alone. We'll find a way, Samantha insisted. We have to. As if in response to her words, the Earth itself seemed to pulse. The quantum crystal at its core resonated with Samantha's determination, sending waves of energy surging through the facility. The duplicate Samantha and her quantum echoes began to flicker and fade, the timeline they represented becoming less probable with each passing moment. "You're dooming us all," she warned as she disappeared. But Samantha stood firm, buoyed by a sense of purpose that transcended the fear and uncertainty of their situation. She looked to her team, human and alien alike, seeing in their eyes the same resolve, the same unwillingness to accept defeat. "All right," she said, her voice steady and clear. "Let's rewrite the laws of physics. Again, for every reality out there." As they turned back to their work, the quantum crystal beneath their feet pulsed in harmony with their efforts. The war they never should have started with humans was entering its most crucial phase, one where humanity's greatest strengths would be put to the ultimate test. In that moment, as multiple realities hung in the balance, the fate of the multiverse rested in the hands of a species that had spent its entire existence defying the impossible. And they were about to prove, once again, why that was a force to be reckoned with. Synthesis. The control room of Dr. Chen's facility had transformed into a nexus of furious activity, a crucible where human ingenuity and alien wisdom fused in a desperate bid to save not just one reality, but all of them. Holographic displays pulsed with multi-dimensional equations that would have driven lesser minds to madness, while outside, the fabric of spacetime continued to fray. Dr. Samantha Chen stood at the center of the maelstrom, her eyes alight with determination as she coordinated the efforts of her team. "Alex, I need you to recalibrate the quantum resonators. We're going to use Earth's crystal core as an amplifier." Her assistant nodded, fingers flying across adaptive interfaces. "On it, Dr. Chen. But the power requirements are off the charts. We'll need to tap into every major power grid on the planet to even come close." Ambassador Lyra, her ethereal form shimmering with barely contained energy, interjected, "I may have a solution for that." She turned to her aide, a being of pure light and thought. "Contact the fleet. Tell them to move into low orbit and prepare to channel their drive core's energy directly to this facility." As the aliens rushed to comply, Samantha felt a moment of vertigo. Here she was, a scientist from a planet that had only recently achieved faster-than-light travel, coordinating a plan to save the multiverse alongside beings of unimaginable age and power. The sheer scope of it threatened to overwhelm her. Lyra, sensing Samantha's momentary hesitation, placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. The touch sent ripples of calm through Samantha's being, grounding her in the present moment. "You're doing remarkably well, Dr. Chen," Lyra said, her voice a soothing melody amidst the chaos. "In all my eons of existence, I've rarely seen a species face such a crisis with such creativity." Samantha managed a small smile. "Well, adapting to impossible situations is kind of our thing, though I have to admit, this is pushing even our limits." Their moment of connection was interrupted by a violent tremor that shook the entire facility. Warning klaxons blared as new alerts flooded the screens. Multiple quantum ruptures detected, a technician shouted, "Something massive is trying to break through." The main view screen shifted to an external feed, showing the sky above the facility tearing open. Through the breach, a titanic form began to emerge, a being of such cosmic scale that merely looking upon it threatened to shatter one's sanity. "By the void," Lyra whispered, her usually unflappable demeanor cracking. "It's an entropy weaver, a cosmic entity that feeds on the death of realities. It must have sensed the weakening of dimensional barriers. The creature defied easy description, its form constantly shifting between states of matter and energy. Tendrils of pure negation reached down from the sky, beginning to unravel the very fabric of reality wherever they touched. Panic threatened to overtake the control room, but Samantha's voice cut through the fear like a beacon of hope. Everyone, stay focused. This doesn't change the plan. It just means we need to work faster. She turned to Lyra, her mind racing with possibilities. Ambassador, you said this thing feeds on dying realities. What if we could use that against it? Lyra's cosmic eyes widened as she grasped Samantha's intention. A quantum lure. Yes, it could work. But the risks are less than doing nothing, Samantha finished. She addressed her team, her voice ringing with authority. New objective. We're going to create a controlled quantum collapse, a fake dying reality to draw that thing's attention while we prepare our resonance cascade. As the team scrambled to implement this audacious plan, Alex approached Samantha, his face etched with concern. Dr. Chen, I've been running the numbers. For this to work, someone will need to manually adjust the quantum harmonics from within the collapsing field. It's a one-way trip. A heavy silence fell over the control room as the implications sank in. Samantha closed her eyes, the weight of the decision pressing down upon her. When she opened them again, they burned with resolute determination. I'll do it, she said simply. Protests erupted from her team, but Samantha silenced them with a raised hand. This isn't up for debate. I started this with my experiments, and I'm going to finish it. Besides, I'm the only one who fully understands the intricacies of the quantum bridge. Lyra stepped forward, her form pulsing with a mixture of admiration and sorrow. Dr. Chen, Samantha, you do understand what this means. Even if we succeed, you'll be lost in the quantum foam between realities. There's no coming back from that. Samantha nodded, a sad smile playing at the corners of her mouth. I know, but if it means saving not just our reality, but all realities, it's worth it. As the team made final preparations, Samantha took a moment to look at each of them, human and alien alike. She saw in their eyes a reflection of the same determination that burned within her. In that moment, she knew that regardless of the outcome, humanity had proven itself worthy of its place among the stars. All right, she said, her voice steady and clear. Let's make history, or save it, preferably both. With a final nod to her team, Samantha stepped into the quantum chamber. As the door sealed behind her, she felt a strange sense of peace wash over her. The fate of the multiverse hung in the balance, and she was about to gamble everything on human ingenuity and determination. Outside, the entropy weaver's tendrils reached ever closer to the facility. Inside the chamber, Samantha's hands danced across controls, weaving a symphony of quantum possibilities. As the fake reality began to collapse around her, drawing the cosmic horror's attention, she felt the pulse of Earth's crystal core resonating through her very being. In that moment, suspended between realities, Dr. Samantha Chen prepared to make the ultimate sacrifice. The war they never should have started with humans was about to reach its climax, and the outcome would echo across infinity. Event Horizon. The quantum chamber hummed with otherworldly energies as Dr. Samantha Chen worked feverishly, her hands dancing across controls that manipulated the very fabric of reality. Outside, the monstrous form of the entropy weaver loomed ever larger, its cosmic tendrils probing the falsely collapsing reality she had created as a lure. Through the chamber's viewing port, Samantha could see her team, human and alien alike, working in perfect synchronicity. Alex's face was a mask of concentration as he coordinated with Lyra's aid to channel the combined power of Earth's energy grids and the alien fleet's drive cores into the facility. Ambassador Lyra herself stood at the primary control interface, her ethereal form pulsing in time with the quantum fluctuations. Her cosmic eyes met Samantha's, conveying a depth of respect and sorrow that transcended the barriers between their species. Energy levels are approaching critical. Alex's voice crackled through the comm system. Dr. Chen were almost ready to initiate the resonance cascade. Samantha took a deep breath, steadying herself for what was to come. Understood, beginning final calibrations now. As her fingers flew across the adaptive interface, Samantha felt a strange sensation, as if she were becoming one with the quantum field itself. The boundaries between her consciousness and the swirling energies around her began to blur. Suddenly, a violent tremor shook the facility. Warning klaxons blared as new alerts flooded the screens outside the chamber. The entropy weaver, one of the technicians, shouted, "It's not just feeding on a false reality, it's accelerating the collapse." Laura's voice cut through the panic, steady but urgent. "Dr. Chen, we're out of time. The cascade must be initiated now, or all realities will be consumed." Samantha's mind raced. The harmonics weren't fully calibrated. Initiating the cascade now could have unforeseen consequences across the multiverse. But waiting meant certain destruction. In that moment of crisis, Samantha felt a presence brush against her consciousness, not the alien touch of Lyra or the cosmic hunger of the entropy weaver, but something far more fundamental. The quantum crystal at Earth's core pulsed in harmony with her thoughts, as if reaching out to her. Understanding flooded through her. Earth wasn't just a nexus world, it was alive in some fundamental way, aware of its role as a linchpin of realities. And now, it was offering itself as a partner in this cosmic gambit. Change of plans. Samantha called out, her voice ringing with newfound certainty. "I'm going to merge my consciousness with the quantum field. I'll become the bridge between Earth's core and the resonance cascade." Protests erupted from the control room, but Samantha cut them off. "There's no time to argue. This is the only way to achieve the precision we need. Alex, Lyra, I'm counting on you to manage the energy flow. Don't let me get lost out there." Before anyone could object further, Samantha closed her eyes and opened herself fully to the quantum field. In an instant, her consciousness expanded beyond the confines of her physical form, spreading out across realities. She saw everything at once, every possible version of Earth, of herself, of the cosmic drama unfolding around them. The entropy weaver loomed large in her expanded perception, a void of cosmic hunger threatening to devour all of existence. But Samantha also saw the connections between realities, the delicate quantum threads that bound the multiverse together. With Earth's crystal core as her anchor, she began to weave those threads into a new pattern, creating a resonance that rippled out across dimensions. In the control room, alarms blared as energy levels spiked beyond all predicted parameters. Alex and Lyra worked frantically to channel the surging power, their disparate technologies fusing in ways never before imagined. "It's working," Alex shouted over the din. "The quantum ruptures are starting to seal themselves." Lyra's form pulsed with excitement and concern. "Yes, but the strain on Dr. Chen's mind must be immense. We need to find a way to pull her back before." Her words were cut off as a blinding light erupted from the quantum chamber. For a moment, it seemed as if reality itself held its breath. When the light faded, the viewing port showed only empty space where Samantha had stood, but on every screen, across every sensor, her presence could be felt. A consciousness expanded to cosmic proportions, holding the very fabric of the multiverse together through sheer force of will. The entropy weaver howled in cosmic fury as it felt its prey slipping away. It redoubled its efforts, tendrils of negation lashing out in a final, desperate attempt to feed. But it was too late. The resonance cascade reached its peak, sending a shockwave of creative energy surging out across realities. Where the weaver's touch brought entropy and decay, this wave brought renewal and possibility. In the control room, human and alien alike watched in awe as the screens showed the multiverse reshaping itself. Quantum ruptures sealed, dimensional barriers strengthened, and the cosmic tapestry rewove itself into a more resilient form. As the energies began to settle, Alex turned to Lyra, his voice thick with emotion. Did we do it? Is it over?" Lyra's cosmic eyes swept over the readings, a mixture of joy and sorrow playing across her ethereal features. Yes, young one, thanks to Dr. Chen's sacrifice, the multiverse is safe. The entropy weaver has been banished back to the void between realities. A cheer went up from the human members of the team, but it was tempered by the knowledge of who had been lost in the process. As the celebration died down, one of the technicians called out in surprise, "Ambassador Lyra, we're detecting a quantum signal. It's Dr. Chen." All eyes turned to the main view screen as a familiar voice echoed through the control room, seeming to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. "Don't worry about me," Samantha's disembodied voice said, tinged with a hint of amusement. "Turns out the space between realities is quite lovely this time of year." Relief and confusion washed over the assembled team. Alex stepped forward, his voice quavering. "Dr. Chen, are you alive?" A chuckle resonated through the quantum field. "In a manner of speaking, my physical form is gone, but my consciousness persists, spread across the multiverse. I am one with the quantum fabric now, a guardian of realities." Lyra's form shimmered with understanding and deep respect. "You've transcended, Dr. Chen, become something few beings in the history of existence have achieved. The multiverse itself will be your laboratory now." As the implications of this transformation sank in, Samantha's voice took on a more serious tone. "Listen, all of you. What we've done here today is just the beginning. The multiverse is vast and full of wonders and dangers. Humanity is ready to take its place as a guardian of realities." She paused, and when she spoke again, her words resonated with pride and hope. "You've proven that the human spirit, our creativity, our determination, our capacity for self-sacrifice, is a force that can shape the very foundations of existence. Never forget that." As her voice faded, leaving behind a profound silence, those gathered in the control room felt the weight of history upon them. The war they never should have started with humans had ended not in destruction, but in transcendence. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged changed, elevated to a new role in the cosmic order. As the team began the monumental task of explaining to the world what had transpired, they knew that this was not an end, but a beginning. The next chapter in humanity's cosmic journey was about to unfold, with infinite possibilities stretching out before them across the vast canvas of the multiverse.